if we dream great dreams, they can come true. Sharpe James, that's my mother's maiden name, and she married Louis James. And she wanted to connect the two families together, right? Sharpe James, my mother's maiden name, and Louis James, my father. Poor folks coming together for that. And then, because of the benevolence of Lord Jesus, I'm 87 years old. My father had died before I was born. She had an abusive boyfriend who threw her off a train trestle. She had a keloid, the length of arm, and didn't go back to playing the piano. But the abusive boyfriend was beating her. And so one morning she shook Sharpe James and my brother Joe, who was a year old, says, "Shut up, I mean, no noise. We're getting out of here." And with just a pillowcase of clothes, a shoebox with some boiled eggs and baked potatoes and some water, we walked for miles and miles until she set fire on a track. Train stopped, and mother was mother. We were on a freight train to Philadelphia with relatives. And the only thing I remember about Philadelphia was Father Divine and Whistle. Mother shook us again one morning, "Hey, we getting out of here." And we took a trailway bus to Elizabeth, New Jersey, to live with my uncle. And everybody couldn't believe my uncle's name, Jesse James, and he was a Jesse James. He was flamboyant. He had a motorcycle club. He had the motorcycle jacket with the beads all over, the beads all over. He was a flamboyant one of the family. And he took us in a cold 2-bedroom, cold water flat on 1st Street, not Elizabeth. Well, and then we went to a school in Elizabeth. I don't know which one, but there was Pyrene Field down there. We went to some school. Then mother woke us another day. "Hey, shh, we're getting out of here." And she took a public service bus to Howard Street in Newark. And I lived on Howard Street. I think there was an outhouse in the backyard. And we went to Robert Treat School. Remember Robert Treat School? I remember that. I think in those days, the desks were combined. You had to be a left desk or a right desk or something like that. And we stayed on Howard Street for a while. We went to Robert Treat. Then mother, "Shh, don't make no noise. We're getting out of here." And we took a bus to Emmett Street, 43. And mother had figured out a way where she could rent and buy. Rent and buy. And I remember the man used to come by with a piece of cardboard. I think the house, she told me, was $4,000, and she would pay $25. And they would just write it, hand her a card, and keep a card. It wasn't you didn't need no PIN number. You didn't need 5 sheets of paper. Back then, credit was on a little piece of paper. She would send us to the store with a card, but that man put how much Miss Beulah James owed. And we walked around the street to Miller Street School, and then up the hill to Southside High School. Mother had only one rule now. You bring home good grades, or you can't go out and play, or you do homework. And boy, we had to do some homework down there. We did homework. But we made mother proud. I was an honor roll student at Miller Street. My brother was an honor roll student at Miller Street. And we were both honor roll students at then Southside. Now they call it Malcolm X Shabazz, but then it was South High School. So now they give me an early out to send me to Springfield College, the #1 school in physical education and science. And I leave there, 58 they graduated. When I graduated college, 58, I'm now in the Army, 2 years, 1960, I'm now at Springfield College, assistant to Dr. Peter V. Karpovich, the #1 renowned sports medicine doctor in America. And I'm on the treadmill. They put me in the laboratory. They give me a dozen white mice to kill, do the blood count, and we're studying the effects of exercise on cholesterol, living, and we're doing that. They write 2 books, make 2 research studies, and my name is on them, Sharpe James, technical assistant, and they said, boy, you gonna stay here and you just gonna get your PhD. Well, okay. They then send me, I get a master's degree. They now send me to Washington State University. When I got my master's, Dr. Gall said, why don't you come to Washington State University and get your PhD? Because we could use that. Dr. George Hearn, Karpovich of Springfield, renowned, at Washington State University in sports medicine was Dr. George Hearn and Dr. Philip Gall. So Gallnick now takes me to Washington State with him, and I'm there working on my PhD. And more white mice, more experiments, more track meal, and I would go to the window and watch a football practice team, and I knew the players, they knew me because I was a tutor also to the athlete. Right. And I wanted to do both sports medicine and athletics. And they would look out the window, all them dummies out there, they're jocks, ain't got no brain. They would call the football players and all. And I learned that I couldn't accept a complete role in science. I could not live with just knowing the white mice and not the name of the football player. So I had been left out of it. It was now 61, 63. I came home back to Newark. They gave me a job at Quitman Street School, and physical education teacher, Quitman Street School. I'm there back home, and I walked past a classroom one day, and there's a young lady standing on a stool. Whoa, who's that? They say, that's Mary Madison. Now, I was also dating a Helen Barnes, and I had to make a choice. And I decided, I'm now back in Newark. I came home in 63, now 64. I married the slow lane, Mary Madison. We got married on a Friday, went over to St. James AME Church where we got married. And Monday we were back in school where we needed some money. We needed to pay for our layaway furniture at Bamberger's in Newark. And you know, it's funny. While I married Mary Madison and Helen Barnes remained friends for the rest of their life. And that was wonderful and beautiful. But then the Board of Ed sent me a letter. Teachers who are married cannot teach in the same school. One of us had to leave Quitman Street School. They transferred me to Westside High School. Okay. I became a coach at Weequahic High School with Joe Nuremberg. I was assistant coach at Weequahic, although I'm now at Westside. Then they decided, well, why not make him the head coach in track and cross country at Westside? He said Westside. So I became the head track and cross country coach at Westside High School, and we became champions. I put names, I did something on them. I said, now, if you do bad, I want them to know you doing bad. So I went out of my pocket, $125, and bought shirts and put their names on it. Leslie Pleasant, Larry Johnson. Hey, you do bad, they gonna know you, not Coach James. But we practiced. We became so good, suburban schools wouldn't run against my team. They said, we don't run Southwest Side. I would show up with over 100 on the team. Milburn refused to run. They're too good and they have too many. I put them in everything, every event. So we won city, we won county, we won state finals. Even went to the Penn relays and did everything. So now, and while at Westside, I became a community activist. I became president of the Weequahic Community Council where I live, and that was in 1965, 66, 67. And then they were going to have a convention in Newark. Black folks were not in a leadership role. First, I joined the United Community Corporation, UCC, a program to train black leadership. So now I'm president of Area Board 9, 315 Osborne Terrace. I'm president of the Weequahic Community Council. And they create the 1970 historical Black and Puerto Rican Convention. And they were bringing Ken Gibson in to be the mayor. And then they picked other candidates. One for the East Ward, they had Whitney Houston, husband there. We had John Hewitt. Picked somebody like at large, Donald Tucker, Ted Pickney, all. And they said, go get that big mouth coach, Sharpe James, to run in the South Ward. And Miss McNeil knocked on my door. Sharpe, yes, we would like for you to come and be a member of the Community Choice team out of the 1970 Black and Puerto Rican hood. We would like you to run for South Ward Councilman. I said, what's that? I'm an athlete, I'm an educator. Well, what's that? They said, we want you to come in. Now, as they were inviting me into the convention in 1969 and 70, they opened up the junior college movement in New Jersey for the first time. They're going to have junior colleges in New Jersey. Yeah, right. And one's going to be in Essex County College. And the president, George Harris, said, we need an athletic program, but we don't have no facility. Go get that big mouth Sharpe James at Westside High School, the one that coached at Weequahic, and interview him. Right? So I'm up there, do you think you could come into Essex County College and create an athletic program for us? We don't have no facility. Well, I said, of course. So I left Westside. I become the first African-American athletic director in a state college in New Jersey. So I walk out on the stage. I'm Sharpe James. I'm running for South Ward Councilman. And I did something no one ever did. I said, I held up a little box I had made a house. And I said, if I get elected, I'm going to create a little city hall. And I stole this idea from Cleveland, where Stokes had ran the little city hall. You won't have to come down to City Hall. You can come to 1072 Bergen Street with all your problems. Why go downtown? They started clapping, woo, 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 woo. Kenneth Allen Gibson became the first elected mayor of a major Northeast city, Mayor of Newark, 1970. And on his coattails, I'll be honest with people, was, well, my brother called me stupid. Earl called me Bozo the Clown. So stupid, Bozo the Clown, space teeth, bad hair, Sharpe James was elected South Ward Councilman in 1970. And I'm councilman of the South Ward. Then I get reelected, councilman of the South Ward. Then in 1982, I decided to run at large. And I became the first ward councilman to get elected at large in 1982. So now I'm at Essex County College, where I was South Ward councilman, where I'm now councilman at large. And then 1986, people were knocking on my door. When are you going to run for mayor, Sharpe? Run for mayor? Ken Gibson is my mentor. Ken Gibson is my confidant. Ken Gibson is my friend. Sharpe, he's tired. It's time for, they came up with a slogan, a sharp change. Wow. It's time for a sharp change. So in 1986, we split Newark into two camps. Those including me who loved Ken Gibson. Stay the course, continue progress. We know what we have, but in that Sharpe James stupid, Sharpe James Bozo the Clown, we don't know what we're gonna get. Husband and wife for 16 years. They went to the polls. Sharpe James, South Ward Councilman, Sharpe James, councilman at large. Ken Gibson for mayor for 16 years. But in 1986, Newark had to make a choice. Is it going to be stay the course, continue the progress, Ken Gibson for mayor, or that maverick Sharpe James, time for a Sharpe James? That's the most heated election in the history of Newark, the most divided election in the history of Newark. And when it was all over, May 1986, Sharpe James became mayor of Newark. You never know what bridge you'll cross. You never know when people will come together, what issue, what cause. It was just a wonderful thing. And a principal lived across the street from Weequahic High School. He was ill. I would go over and shovel his snow in the wintertime and help cut. We became family. So it's been a beautiful, wonderful experience. So kind, so helpful, such benevolence.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you don't forget things. You don't forget acts of kindness.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough of that in society today. You can never forget an act of kindness. It stays with your cerebral hemisphere. You always remember, goodness will last forever. Act of kindness. Being mayor, being kind, you go into the church. And mother had us in the church, and we would fall asleep as kids and everything like that there. But as a politician going into church, you listen, you learn. The first thing I did, and one of the reverends had to remind me, I never went into a church and left. Like, you go in, Councilman James, Mayor James here, and then you leave. Yeah. Every church I went into, I stayed to the very end. I came in early, and I was one of the last people out. Because I was learning, I was awed. I needed some spiritual guidance. And as I read the Bible, it said, what you do for the least of my people. And so I began, Newark, and then I was helped by council people like Gail Cheneyfield Jenkins and Bessie Walker and Reverend Dr. Mamie Bridgeworth and the late Ron Rice and Donald Bradley, my council president. Can we make Newark a destination city? That Gail can. And then that's why we have an arts center in Newark today. Spent over $1 million saying it's not safe to come in Newark. You shouldn't walk into Newark. I went to Washington and asked Kemp, the football player who was secretary of HUD, could we have some money to help us get a study on the arts in Newark? He said, Sharpe, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You should be here asking for more money for drug treatments and more money for jails. I said, oh, we got all that. Well, why do you hear? I said, John Amos in East Orange said it best. We want the opportunity to step over the drug paraphernalia and onto the stage like a young lady by the name of Sarah Vaughan, who went to New York and had a contest and came back and became a world international singer. I said, we want that opportunity. The impossible dreams. And I had help. I'm now mayor, and a young man walked in my office named Ray Chambers. And he said, Mayor James, have you ever heard of Eugene Lang? I said, who walked into a Harlem classroom and said, if everyone in this classroom maintains a C average, I'll pay for you to go to the college or university of your choice. We'll help you with a mentoring, and we'll see you get a job. And he did that for that Harlem class. Well, I said, well, Mr. Chambers, that was a great program. What do you want to do? He said, I would like for every seventh grader in Newark, every seventh grader in Newark to attend a college or university of choice, have a mentoring program, and move into the private sector with help. That's what I would like to see. He said, I have a program called Ready Scholars Program, Newark Ready Scholars Program. I said, Mr. Chambers, do you realize that a program like that, and I was guessing, I was trying to scare him. I said, that program that costs about $15 million. This ain't no one classroom like Eugene Lyon. It's about $15 million. He said, when can we start?
Wow.
When can we see the superintendent of schools? And born in Newark, because of Ray Chambers' love, who graduated from Westside High School, the Newark Ready Scholars Program was born. So now, and he also helped with the Performing Arts Center. He was the #1 fundraiser. What brings joy? Seeing other people happy, seeing the least of our people happy, standing outside Prudential Center and seeing people from all over the world come to that. Just stand out there and see thousands of people come from all over the world to a city that some say people don't want to be found dead in Newark, but they come. To stand at New Jersey PAC at the last gala, annual gala, 27 years later, from 1997 when it opened to the day, and see people from all over the world come to the city of Newark. It means that to play good music on the piano, you have to use both the black and white keys. It means that this America is great because of its tapestry of all of us. We should be about cooperation and not confrontation. It means that if we dream great dreams, they can come true.